If the story of Jack Parsons isn't made into a movie soon, then I'm giving up on Hollywood for good. Because this is a man whose life had everything from rockets and explosions through to satanic rituals and Scientology. Probably that last part that's the reason for his story never getting made. Damn you, Tom Cruise. Anyway, just to clarify once more, the Jack Parsons we're talking about is the 1930s rocket engineer and not the guy who runs Twitter. The original Jack Parsons contributed massively to the field of rocketry, and he was personally responsible for many of the advancements which enable us to nuke foreigners and fire junk into space today. Parsons' wealthy heritage meant he was able to indulge his passion for rockets from a young age, and eventually he moved on to become a researcher at the California Institute of Technology before later helping to found NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which still remains in operation. But when Jack Parsons went deeper, he didn't delve down into the depths of complex rocket science. He began dabbling in the occult. In 1939, Parsons joined a religious philosophy cult called Thelema, a bizarre movement which involved magic and cosmology founded by English occultists Aleister Crowley, whose work was later used to form part of the Satanic Bible. During Parsons' involvement in Thelema, he joined a Masonic Templar lodge and was known to enjoy dancing naked around fires as part of a pagan ritual. So yeah, you could say he was a little distracted from his work. Aleister Crowley became something of a spiritual mentor for Parsons, and his involvement in both the lodge and Thelema led to his exclusion from the scientific community. Then in 1945, Parsons met a man called Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, aka L. Ron, the founder of Scientology. And they had a wonderful time together, with one particularly eventful occasion seeing Parsons masturbate onto magical tablets while Hubbard wrote notes, as the pair tried to summon the mother of the Antichrist. Haven't we all? Parsons and Hubbard believed that they had the power to summon spirits using witchcraft, and L. Ron was often present to perform rituals while Parsons and his girlfriend made love. Hubbard later stole Parsons' girlfriend, along with most of his money, and the former rocket scientist pledged to place a curse on the future prophet in response to this betrayal. I mean, of all the people you don't want to piss off, a guy who plays with explosive rockets has to be up there. Sadly, it was actually Parsons who was to become cursed. He returned to the field of rocket science in 1946, but when the Cold War began, he was deemed subversive, and the FBI stripped him of his clearance. He was also suspected of spying for the Israeli government, and all of these things pushed him back towards the world of occultism. Parsons returned to Thelema to spend his days pursuing a higher form of consciousness, and on one occasion claimed to have hosted the spirit of the Antichrist. Parsons was killed in 1952 during a trip to Mexico, where he was establishing an explosives facility for the Mexican government. But the circumstances surrounding his death are not entirely certain, as while some claim he died due to an accident he himself had caused. This didn't make sense, as Parsons was an extremely cautious and careful man. Some people believed that L. Ron Hubbard was responsible for his death, and others concluded that Parsons died while attempting some kind of explosive magic. Nobody knows for sure. But what is certain is that before he went deep into occultism, Jack Parsons was a genius rocket scientist who was ahead of his time. And who knows where humanity might be today if he had resisted the lure of Thelema and continued deeper into the field of rocketry. And if L. Ron Hubbard hadn't nabbed his broad and raided his piggy bank. I do not like that guy one bit.